Hey there, CJ Math students, and welcome to Notes 1.13. So let's get right into it. First off, math vocabulary. We've done this word before, but if you recall, an average is a central value of a set of numbers and we find this found by adding up all numbers and dividing by how many values we have. So an example, if I gave you 3, 7, and 11, you would add up 11 plus 7 plus 3. That would give you 27. And then you would do 27 divided by 3 to get your average of 7. Okay? So, let's say we have a student. His name is Joe. And he got the following 10 scores on 10 math assignments. What would his homework average be? So the first thing we need to do is add up these numbers. Now, you could use some addition strategies. Instead of adding them up kind of in a row, I'd like to take the 10s. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. Plus, let's do the 5s now. 5 and 5 is 10, so plus 10 more. And then let's do some addition here that we know. Let's do 8 and 7. That's plus 15. And then we got 1, 9, right? So now we've created, by doing kind of partial sums here, something that we could add up a little bit more easily. So 50 plus 10 is 60. 60 plus 15 plus 9. 60 plus 15 is 75 plus 9. And then we just add those together, and we get 84. All right, so now how many values do we have? Well, it said right there 10, but I could also count them up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So our average we'll figure out by doing this division problem. So 10 goes into 84 8 times. That's 80 with 4 left over. So we'll put a decimal 0, and we'll shoot the 0 on down. And 10 goes into 40 4 times. So his average on his homework is about an 8.4. Now, when I say an 8.4, I mean 8.4 out of 10. So that's as a percent. He's really getting an average of an 84%. So when he turns in homework, he's getting an 84% as an average. All right. Now let's pretend Joe didn't turn in 2 assignments late. These 2 5s, right, were late assignments. But he actually turned those 5s into 9s. What's his new average? So basically what we do is we redo this, but instead of having these 5s, we have 9s. So when we add this up, it becomes 50, not plus 10 this time, but if these were 9s, that's plus 18 plus 15 plus 9. These add together give us 68 plus 15 plus 9. So I'm thinking in my head 68 plus 10 was 78. 78 plus 5 more would be 83 plus 9. And when I add 83 plus 9, I get 92. So my average would be my 10 assignments that I had, right? That's where I get my 10 from, because there were 10 assignments, plus divided into my total score. And 10 goes into 92, obviously 9 times, that's 90. With 2 left over, that's where we add our decimal 0, shoot it on down. So 10 goes into 22 times. So just by turning those assignments in and getting 9s instead of 5s, right, we've increased our average from an 84 to a 92%. So that's why we say it's so important to get your homework in and homework in on time. All right. So homework is just one part of your executive function at CJ. Class Dojo, don't forget about those donuts, competition, is another part. For Joe, there was no school last week on Monday, but you can find his Class Dojo points for each day last week, right? So first of all, sorry, this should say Tuesday. So Tuesday, he got 4 positive points and 1 negative point. So out of a total of 5 points, right, because you add these together, so 5 points, he was positive 4 out of 5. Now, this is obviously 0.8, which is obviously 80%. You can find that on your reference sheet, right? On the next day, on Wednesday, out of a total of 8 possible points, Joe has 5 positive. So if you look on your reference sheet, this should be 0.625. Now you could also do the division. If you didn't have your reference sheet, that division would be 8 into 5 or 8 into 5.0, and it would require you to do a lot of division. On Thursday, he had a total of 7 out of 7, so obviously that day he got a 1.0, otherwise known as 100%. Oh, sorry, on this day he was at a 62.5%. And then on Friday, out of a total of 10 points, he had a rough day. He was 6 positive, so 6 out of 10 is obviously 0.6 or 60%. All right. So his weekly average would be found by adding these up and dividing by how many? It would be 1, 2, 3, 4 days, right? So I want to add 80% plus 62.5% plus 100% plus 60%. When I get that, I add that all up, it's going to give me 302.5. So now to find my average, I'll take how many days did I have? 1, 2, 3, so 4 different values, and I'll divide it into my total of 302.5. All right, so 4 goes into 3, nope, but 4 goes into 37 times, that's 28. 2 left over, bring down your 2. 4 goes into 22 5 times, that's 20. With 2 left over, bring down your 5. 4 goes into 25 6 times. That's 24 with 1 left over. And I could keep going, but for right now, I'll just hold it there. So his weekly average is a 75.6%. Okay? So when Mr. Mason puts in the grades in the grade book, he does it out of 10 points for everything. So 10 points for each day. So this week, he would put in 40 points. So given Joe's weekly average, how many points will Mr. Mason give Joe out of 40? Think hint percent of. So think about it. I have 40. What is, and we're asking what's 75.6% of 40. So first of all, we need to change this into a decimal. So once, oops, I don't know what happened to my 7 there. So I moved the decimal once, twice, and that's what I'm going to be multiplying. I'm going to be multiplying 0.756 times 40, right? I know when I have nothing but zeros in my first row, I can just start off by laying an egg, and then I can multiply. 4 times 6 is 24. Carry my 2. 4 times 5 is 20, plus 2 is 22. Carry my 2 again. 4 times 7 is 28, plus 2 is 30. I ran out of space there, but there are 3 decimals, or 3 numbers beyond the decimal, so I need to swoop 3 times. So swooping 3 times, Mr. Mason would give Joe 30.2 out of 40 points. That's what would go in the grade book. And the fraction 30.2 out of 40 is pretty close to 75%, right? 3/4 is 75%. It's approximately equal to the percent average he had of 75.6%. That's the end of part 1.